You know, as a parent or guardian, your child's well-being is everything, but it can be so hard to tell the difference between a tough week and something much more serious brewing under the surface. So this explainer is for anyone who's worried and just wants to know how they can help. So let's just get right to the big question, the one that probably keeps you up at night. How do you really know if your child is in a crisis? It's a heavy question, I know. But the good news is there are real, concrete things you can look for. All right, let's dive into our first section, the signs to watch for. Think of this as learning to be a detective for your child's well-being, spotting those subtle shifts that tell a story your child might not be able to say out loud. Okay, first up, look for big changes in their behavior. And the key word here is change. We're not talking about a kid who's always been a little quiet. We're talking about the kid who lived for soccer but suddenly won't go to practice, or the social butterfly who now just stays in their room. That shift, that's the signal. Next, there's the emotional side of things. Of course, all kids get sad or angry, but what we're looking out for is a mood that just doesn't lift, that constant cloud of hopelessness. And you've got to listen really closely to their words. If you hear your child say they feel like a burden or that they're worthless, that is a direct and urgent cry for help. And that leads right into changes in how they talk. Now, I know this can be really scary to hear, but it is so important that you don't brush it off. Any talk about death, even if it sounds casual or like a dark joke, has to be taken seriously. Phrases like, "I just want it to stop," or "nobody would even miss me," those are often ways of expressing really deep pain. You know, what's happening on the inside often starts showing up on the outside. Look at their physical routines. Are they sleeping way, way more than usual, or maybe they're barely sleeping at all? Have their eating habits totally changed? Sometimes when someone is really struggling, even basic self-care, like taking a shower, can feel like climbing a mountain. And finally, be on the lookout for what some people call goodbye actions. This could be something like your child suddenly giving away their favorite video game collection or that hoodie they never took off. It might just seem strange, but sometimes it can be a way of tying up loose ends. Seeing all these signs, it can feel like a lot. It's overwhelming. But your first response can be so simple and yet so powerful. This quote right here is the foundation. Before anything else, just communicate this message. Say it clearly and say it often. It's the anchor they desperately need to hear from you. So you've seen some signs and you're worried. What do you do now? Well, our second section is all about your absolute best tool for connecting with them, listening. And I don't just mean hearing the words, I mean truly listening. Here are 3 things you can do right away. First, just listen. Create a space where they know they can talk without you jumping in to fix it or judge them. Second, tell them you love them. Say, "I'm here for you, no matter what." And third, and this is probably the hardest part, you have to lean into that uncomfortable conversation. Don't avoid it because it's scary. Okay, let's talk about a huge myth that stops so many parents from taking that next step. There is this fear that if you ask about suicide, you'll somehow plant the idea in their head. The truth is the complete opposite. Talking about it doesn't create the risk. It actually reduces it because you're opening a door for them to finally talk about their pain. So, the most powerful thing you can do is just be direct. A calm, loving question like, "It sounds like you're in so much pain right now. Are you thinking about hurting yourself?" That's not an accusation, it's a lifeline. It shows them you see how much they're hurting and you're not afraid to go there with them. All right, so you've opened the conversation. You're their rock. But here's the thing, you don't have to be their therapist. That's what our third section is all about, bringing in the experts who can help guide both of you from here. And there are trained professionals who really specialize in this. A school guidance counselor can be a fantastic first step. They're right there and accessible. Then you have psychologists and psychiatrists who can offer more specialized therapy and, if needed, medical support. And what's so important to remember is that this kind of support, it's not just for your child. A good professional helps the entire family. They give you all new ways to talk to each other and cope. They create a safe space for everyone to figure this out together. And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important section. You are not alone. And that message is for you, the parent, just as much as it is for your child. Let's look at this term on the screen, protective factors. It's just a clinical-sounding way of talking about the positive things in a person's life that help keep them safe. And just look at what's at the very top of that list. You. your relationship with them, your connection, your love. You are a powerful protective factor.
So really, the biggest takeaway here is this. It's not a choice between your love and professional help. The best, most effective way to get to the other side of this is a team approach. It's your unwavering support combined with expert guidance.
Okay, and I need to be absolutely crystal clear about this next part. If your gut, your intuition is screaming at you that your child is in immediate danger of hurting themselves, do not wait. Your only priority in that moment is their safety. Go to the nearest emergency room or call for emergency help right away. Period.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? This journey is hard. It is so scary, but you do not have to walk it by yourself. Help is out there, and hope is absolutely real.
So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question you can actually do something with. This isn't about solving everything all at once. It's just about taking one small step. So, what is one simple, gentle way you can check in with your child and just open that door for connection today? That one small step could be the thing that changes everything.